Hi there, welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'll be showing you how to use this AWS Step Function and what is like how we can utilize this in the workflow and how to use the editor mode and lots of things I'm going to show in this video. So let's proceed with what is this AWS Step Function. I'll just go to the Amazon AWS website. Over here, you can see it is a serverless orchestration service that lets you integrate with the AWS Lambda functions and other services to build business critical applications. So we can define the steps and we can graphically connect like what is the input and what are output to be passed. So we can define all those things and what are the series of event that is going to happen. Like basically event driven steps that we are going to define in the step function. So basically each step function is based upon one state machine and the task that is going to perform. So basically, we can say that a state machine is a workflow. Task is basically a state in a workflow that represent a single unit of work. So this is how we are going to define this AWS step function. So lots of benefits are there. Like we have some built-in controls. We can integrate uh, our Lambda. We can also integrate our AWS services, Glue, DynamoDB, ETL. Lots of things we can do in this. So lots of integrations are there and lots of optimization we can do. So I will show you just with a simple basic example. Then we will proceed with the integration with the Lambda function. So let's go on to the console. So you can see over here. So we can define our workflow and then same workflow we can, it's basically a JSON file that we can write it ourselves or we can just use GUI in order to create. There is a very nice GUI that we can utilize it. So let's start with the demo one. Get started. Okay, so you can see this is the definition over here, comment. Now in this step function, there are various states are there like pass and then fail. You can see default. You can see wait is there. So those are the states are being defined. So once we keep on working with different examples, you can get about know about the failed or pass or next state. So we can see these are different states that are being defined in the step functions. So it is just like a flow chart that is being defined. You can see start. Once it is passed, it will go to the hello world example, and it requires some input parameter. So if it is true, it will go yes. Wait for 3 seconds, and then it will go to the hello world, and then end the program. So you can see over here, if I click on this, this is the start over here. Let me go to the, let me create it first, then I will show you the other things. So once you click next, so machine state name, hello world demo. So we can choose a role over here, create a new role, but make it sure whatever role you're creating, it should have like if you're integrating some AWS services, make it sure that role is having this role is having that access to that service. Then only you can utilize this. So let it be this. So I will use my existing one. This is having basically access to the Lambda function. I will explain you later. But if you are in the first, let it be create a new role. So log, I'm not going to add any logs and all, just we can watch it directly. No need of putting into the CloudWatch logs. It's not required. We can just, when we execute the step function, we can see those logs over there. X-ray tracing, if you want. There is one small video in AWS X-ray also. You can just look into those videos of mine, but it is not required. It's optional. Additional configuration basically, and tags and all not required. So let's create a state machine. Okay, so you can see is hello world true? If this particular value is true, So let me open in a new browser rather than opening in the same one. Start the execution. So you can see it has succeeded. I take very less time. Let me new execution, same. So I will show you it is waiting there for the 3 seconds. So you can see, wait for 3 seconds, and then it will go to the next parallel state, and then hello world, and that's it. Now, if you see over here, when I'm clicking on the new execution, so if I make it false, and then you can start execution, you can see it has been failed very quickly. It goes to the no, and it is being failed. And you can see the cause over here that not hello world, basically it is show step details. You can see is hello world example false was being provided, and output was nothing. It was just not a hello world. So if you go similarly to the other stage, as you can see, pass, hello world, false. This is the start, then this one. So if I go to the, again, if I go to the new execution over here, if I make it true, so you can see the various stages and what is the input and output that is being passed to the next stages. So here you can see input is this, output is this. If I click here, input, output, then two branches are there. You can see both the branches are true. That is output. And then this one. And what is the output over here? That is a true. So all the cases you can see over here. So you can go into details also, how much time it took, what type it is. So different things you can get into this, events and all, choice, basically what's the choice over here. And you can also see the code over here next to that particular scenario. See, you can just have a look. So type choice variable, this one, if it is true, next yes, if it is false, no. So it will go to the no. Then here it is just waiting for 3 seconds. Then here you can see branches are there, start at hello, then states, hello, type pass. Similarly, the world will also be there. So this is how they have created this small demo example. They have given this demo example. So if I go to the edit state machine over here, you can see there is a very nice, this is a new thing that they have added over here, Workflow Studio. So when you go to the Workflow Studio, you can see this graphical representation, and it is very nicely done. Now, if you see over here, hello world, so you can see choice rules. So you can just drag and drop also if you want. It's your wish if you want to make it. You can see action flows, what are the patterns that you want to do. So you can use this process CSV file in S3. So these are the things that you can define it over here. And from the based upon this, you can configure your SNS and all that there is some failure or something while moving from one process to the another. So these things we can configure, and see you can see these are the flows that you can see, take over here. Wait, success, fail. Let me scroll it down. So you can choose accordingly from this. Now, if you see over here, this one is a choice over here. So hello world, that is a state name, and these are the choices. Rule 1, rule 2, and this is the default that we can add. If it is not true, then what to do? So if you go to the this pass state, so you can see wait for 3 seconds. And if you go to this parallel state, you can see hello world. Next stage will be hello world. So if you go to the pass over here, you can see the next state is hello world example. So you can just check it over here and you can choose whichever state you want to proceed basically. Okay. So this is very nice over here. Now, if I choose it over here, like suppose uh, I want to evoke some Lambda function or something. Let's say here I want to evoke a Lambda function. Just for example, I'm making it. So now this Lambda function, I already have created one Lambda function. So you can also create a Lambda function. So this is my Lambda function that I have created. So I'm adding this one to this over here and make it show the role that we have. Uh, Now this, if you don't have the access permissions, it will start giving you error over here. So I need to provide the ARM number, but anyhow, it is the optional one. So let me leave this one. I will come back to this. So you can see hello world demo. So it will show you the whole details over here, how many times it was being executed and what were the steps and all. You can get the whole detail over here. Okay, I was talking about this Lambda function and all. Let's say if we add it over here. So I will just show you over here. Let's add over here Lambda function. So I'm not adding anything over here. Let it be by default rest of the things. And you can see next state is going to the pass by default. So I'm not touching anything over here. Let it be, or let it be after pass, or let it be over here. Okay. So you can see it's going to the next stage. So let's apply and exit. We need to specify the function name. So that is the error. So I'll just go back over here. Okay, Lambda function name. As I told you, I've already created one Lambda function. So just a basic Lambda function it is. So nothing to worry about it. Okay, so I'll just show you, this is my Lambda function that is being created. So if when you create a Lambda function, make it sure you choose node 14. So you will be getting over here. Better I will do one thing. I will just show you just the steps. I just copy paste this code. You can get this code from my GitHub. So when you're creating a new Lambda function from the scratch, you can just go to the functions, create a new function, function name, make it sure you choose over here, node 14. Then you copy paste my code. So that is a basic code over here. So if you see over here, what I'm writing over here, I'm just, okay. So if you see over here, this is the Lambda function. It is exporting the handler and the callback. It is hello, and the parameter that we need to event that will be called out as a who over here, and it will give the value hello. And if you see over here, make it sure after testing you deploy also. So I haven't made the changes over here. So just a small thing, configure test event over here. You can see who I'm putting it as a Jaspal. So that's why I'm getting over here the response, hello Jaspal. Okay, so just create this Lambda function. Now, once you have created the Lambda function, now you can see I have already added the Lambda function. Let me go to the edit. So you can see there is, let me check. Okay, so I have added over here. You can see this Lambda function is there. That is being already added. Now, if I go to the Lambda function, let me go to the Workflow Studio. So I didn't assign any roles and all. So that's just a Lambda function. I just want to cross-check the function that I'm going to use. So that is the my step latest. Okay, that is basically the ARN number. If your function name sometimes it doesn't pop up, you can just copy paste and you can utilize that. Okay, now if I go back, apply and exit, let's run this one. I just want to show you the error. So you also will be facing this error. So here I'm going to pass who, and here my name. Okay. So you can see over here, it pass, it goes to the Lambda function. There are lots of issues are there. You can see invoke Lambda function because there is no identity base here. It's not authorized basically. So what we can do, we can go to the edit this state machine, or we can just go directly over here. Still running because Lambda timeout will be there. So we can just go to the, okay, let me check over here one thing. Okay, okay. So it is task scheduled to the Lambda function. So let's me click over here. So this is the input. So basically it's giving you unauthorized. So we can go down here. You can see over here, choose an existing role. So this was a role by default being created. Now this is my role that I have created earlier. So if I go to this role, I just want to show you the permissions. Basically, I have added the whole Lambda. So you can see this is a role that is there. And by default, it will be getting X-ray access policy only. So this one, the policy I have created, you can see this is having the whole Lambda star resource action Lambda. So basically, it is given the full access to the Lambda. So that's why I'm using this role. It is not allowed, but you can just give a simple Lambda execution only. But I have given the whole thing and added to this particular role. So that's why I'm using this role. So by default, it won't be added. You need to add it yourself in the roles, and then you can use that particular role over here. Okay. By default, it will just add only the X-ray only. Now you can see it's being added over here. I will just save this one. So at least one of the error will be gone. So let's say start execution. We will be getting some more errors because from the Lambda, how it is going to the next one that we need to check. Okay, see, we get the error. So now it is okay. Our Lambda got executed. You can see who Jaspal and the output is hello Jaspal. I hope this is fine. Now, if you go over here, you can see it is expecting that enter this invalid path. The choice state condition prefers the invalid value. Now, when we are moving from the Lambda to the next one, so there is some invalid value. So we will just go to the edit machine because if you see over here, it is looking for this variable true or false, basically this one. If it is true, it will go to the next one. If it is false, it will go to the no one. So we will, because in the Lambda, we haven't defined this. So we will just edit this and we will pass it as a output. So when our Lambda is okay, okay, let's see. When this one is moving to the next one, we will put the output. Uh, let me, okay, this is our rule. Okay, let me check over here. So that is basically the payload. Okay, we can do one thing, just we can move our Lambda function up. So basically, I don't want to touch the okay, so we can add over here, but this Lambda is already added some payload and also that's why I don't want to touch this one. So we can just do one thing. We can just move our Lambda function up, and it will be invoked first, then it will go to the past state, then it will go to the hello world. Now, if you go to the past state over here, you can see there is output over here. So here I'm going to define that will be the output of this past state that will pass to the next state. That is the hello world example. So this is basically I want to pass because I don't want to change the payload of the Lambda function. So let it be there. That's why I move it up and just I will pass it over here true. Okay, everything looks fine. I hope you understood this one. So if now this pass is input, I'm not worried about anything because it's just a payload that will be coming from there and it go to the next state because if you see the Lambda, it is moving to the next state, that is our pass. That's it. And then if you go to the pass over here, it is moving to the next state, that is hello world. But it requires this hello world because it is a choice. So we need to provide over here is hello world example true or false. That is output from the past state that will be move on to the choice state. So I have added over here is hello world true. Let's apply and save and let's start execution. So okay, so you can see it moved to the next stage. That's it. So if you go to the Lambda, our Lambda invoked, what was our input, output, okay, details if you want to see, definition, what was the payload, which function was being called, all the details are there. And you can see how many retries, interval seconds, maximum attempts. You can decrease this attempts and all if you want. Next stage is pass. So pass, okay, what was the input, same, output, that is the true that is required for the choice state, details and definition you can have a look on it. Now, if I click on this hello world example, you can see input is hello world true and output is also the same and details and the definition you can get it from here. Next, it is yes and all depending upon that. And again, it will go to the parallel state and all. Now, if you want to change a little bit, let's go to the edit state machine. And for this one, you can see over here, pass, uh, output. I will just make it false just to show you how does it fail. Save. We can also do error handling and all lots of things are there that we can do. If possible, I will be showing you in the next video for the step function. So you can see fail state, hello world. What was the input? It was false. That's why it go to no and stop. But our Lambda function still it get evoked. That is not depending upon anyone. Okay. So key things that you need to take care. If you're including a Lambda function, make it sure the policies. You can just watch my previous videos, how to give the permissions and all, Lambda execution. Otherwise, the Lambda will not be getting executed. And make it sure like what is the next stages and all that you're going to have, and what is the input and output. That also you need to take care. And always like this is quite handy over here. If you go to the edit state machine, um, this workflow studio is quite interesting. Even you can have your own JSON and all. Now, if you see over here, we can have a publish SNS if you want SNS, but you need to create a topic, then you need to subscribe to that topic, then only this notifications will be getting published. So make it sure if you want to use this SNS, you can watch my previous video in which I have shown you. Even if you go to the ECS, you can run some tasks. Again, you can connect to something on the step functions that also you can do. AWS Glue is also there. Now, if you go to the EC2, you can see there are lots of things that you can also do over here. So just have a quick look into it. It's very interesting. Now, if you want to create a S3 bucket, you can see S3. I want to create a bucket on, and if you want to complete the multi-part upload, something like that, delete a bucket. So all the options are there that you can include in your flow. So this workflow is very interesting. So depending, you can business scenarios that are whatever you're having, list parts and all those things, you can define it over here. In case of any difficulties, you can just comment on my video. I will just provide you the support. And for the code for the Lambda function and all, I will be just putting it in my GitHub. So I hope it was clear, the step functions. Um, and I hope you like my video. In the upcoming videos, I will try to give you some error cases, like how to handle how the step function can handle the error. Then we can move into the app sync and all those things. That these are all part of the serverless orchestration. So we will be keeping all the topics that are related to that in the upcoming videos. I hope you like my video. Please do like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.